Brand new developments tonight surrounding the tragic death of Deputy Matthew Yates. The 15-year veteran of the Clark County Sheriff's Office was shot and killed Sunday after responding to a shots fired call.
Now, we've just received details on his memorial arrangements. There's going to be a visitation on Sunday, and the funeral service will then be on Monday. We've also learned tonight that two others died at the Harmony Estate Mobile Home Park. They've been identified as 27-year-old Cole White and 47-year-old Jody Arbuckle. Allison Walker is live outside the mobile home park tonight. She's been working to get new information for us all day. Allison, what have you learned?
Megan, well, the Clark County Sheriff has yet to release further details surrounding this heart-wrenching incident. I met Jody's uncle as he was paying his respects here today. While he did not want to go on camera, he tells me that Jody came here to check on Cole when tragedy ensued. And I want to warn you that these 911 calls are very hard to listen to.
Okay. And so you were outside of the trailer?
She went inside.
She went inside. Who is she?
Jesus, her mother.
She's whose mother?
Cole's mom.
Cole's mom. And so Cole's mom got shot?
I'm already outside, but she's not. There's no contact.
Okay.
We were on the phone together on speaker.
Okay.
And I heard him scream.
Okay.
And I heard him say something. I'm sorry.
This frantic 911 call was placed before Clark County sheriffs were dispatched to 1132 Ashwood Drive. In a later 911 call placed by a neighbor, you can hear them describe the scene, saying one woman entered the home.
No, the woman got into the house. I think they were doing like a welfare check on this guy that lives in that house.
Okay.
But she had to end up going in through the window.
Okay. How many shots were fired?
At least 5 or 6.
I did some digging into Cole White's past. A Yellow Springs police report from last summer reveals White was wanted for arrest on suspicion of improperly handling firearms in a motor vehicle. The report says officers investigated 2 women's complaints about unwanted sexual advances. Police say White had a revoked concealed carry permit at the time of last year's arrest. This information leaving neighbors shocked. Jim Carr says White grew up next door and lived with his mother and grandma. Carr says as an adult, White lived there alone.
We never knew he had any guns. I mean, it's kind of scary because the dog's always out here and we have our grandkids over a lot.
Just, about a couple weeks ago, he was talking to my 6-year-old. But he wasn't, violent. He didn't seem threatening in any way, shape, or form. He would just come down here and kind of just chill out, I guess, in nature.
And we want to reiterate again that police have not said who shot Deputy Yates or how the 2 other victims died. And Cole and Jody's family say there's still much that they don't even know, but they tell me it's a travesty for all parties involved. Meanwhile, the tributes for Deputy Yates just keep on growing. Even in the rain today, people have come out here to cry, grieve, and pay their respects. Reporting live here in Harmony Township, Allison Walker, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Allison, thanks so much. And we are learning more tonight about what officers were dealing with when they responded to that scene. We just got these call logs into our newsroom today. They break down the incident minute by minute. Now, it started at 10:51 a.m. on Sunday when deputies were called to Harmony Mobile Home Park on a shots fired call. Then at 11:09, deputies went inside that mobile home and shots were fired. At 11:10, it was reported that one of their own was down. By 11:13, Care Flight was on standby, and then 2 minutes later, multiple units were en route. Emergency crews also began evacuating neighbors. Then, nearly 40 minutes later, more shots were fired. Ohio BCI was called to respond at 1:07. SWAT arrived a few minutes later, and more shots were again fired. Investigators then sent a drone into the home at 2:13 in the afternoon, which, according to the log, showed Deputy Yates on the ground. At 2:31, SWAT moved in with gas and flashbangs, and more shots were fired. Now, at some point, the mobile home caught fire. By 2:54, it was engulfed in flames. This is Dayton 24/7 Now Skyview video of that scene. Right now, it still isn't clear why that mobile home caught fire. We've reached out to the state fire marshal and are waiting to hear back. Now, as you can imagine, it is a somber week in Clark County as the community mourns and honors fallen hero Deputy Matthew Yates. A Clark County Sheriff's vehicle right now sits outside of Springfield City Hall. People coming out and placing flowers on that cruiser throughout the last 2 days. That's where Bryn Caswell is now. And Bryn, I see that memorial continues to grow.
Megan, this memorial for former Deputy Yates continues to grow, like you just said. Take a look at this. You can see flowers are just filling the entire front hood and the windshield of his old patrol car. And there's a lot of heartbreaking, sweet messages that are out here for him. A lot of messages of gratitude for his service. You can see this sign. It looks like a little kid drew it and wrote, "Thank you for your service." Again, lots of flowers and stuffed animals out here for Deputy Yates, and even a candle placed right here that says, "Going to miss you, Uncle Matt." You know, he was a brother, he was an uncle, it sounds like, and he really had a lot of reach in this community. So this just shows right here what he meant to this community. So we're going to be out here all night, and I'll have more reaction coming up tonight at 10 and 11. Back to you.
Bryn, thanks so much. And tonight we have learned when and where Deputy Yates is going to be laid to rest. First, there's going to be a visitation from 4 to 8 p.m. this Sunday, July 31st. It'll be at First Christian Church in Springfield. That service will then be the following day, Monday, August 1st at noon at the same church. Deputy Yates will then be laid to rest at Ferncliff Cemetery Mausoleum in Springfield. We expect there to be a procession from the church to the cemetery, and we'll be there to show you the scene and the turnout as officers from across the state and country are expected to take part. You are able to send flowers to the family, plant a tree, or donate in memory of Deputy Yates. You can do so on the funeral home's website. That's littletonandrue.com. Now, we have this link posted for you in the web version of this story right now on our website. That's Dayton247now.com. You can find it right there on our homepage.
A care flight helicopter crashed this morning while responding to a deadly crash. The Butler County Sheriff's Office tells us 4 people were involved in a 2-car crash on US 127, leaving 1 person dead. Now, care flight responded, but as you saw there, that helicopter crashed. 3 people were on board, but they were able to safely exit. The patient was not on the aircraft at the time. The crew was medically evaluated at the hospital, we're told. 2 have been released. The Butler County Sheriff's Office Serious Traffic Accident Reconstruction Team working with the FAA to process both crashes. Monkeypox. Cases in the U.S., they are growing tonight. This is a live look at the CDC's case tracker now. You can see today we're up to nearly 3,500 cases. Yesterday, that number was below 3,000. Here in Ohio, we have 15 confirmed cases. Yesterday, that number was 4. So you can see the spread is significant and it is fast. Now, the White House says it's taking this very seriously and is considering a monkeypox coordinator. This comes 3 days after the World Health Organization declared the spread a global health emergency, and the U.S. is considering a public health emergency itself. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci says he doesn't think all Americans need to be vaccinated against this, but the U.S. does need to do a better job of reaching those at high risk. Now, a live look at the White House, where President Biden has completed his 5-day quarantine and Paxlovid treatment. You remember the president diagnosed with COVID last Thursday, and today Dr. Fauci says Biden is doing very well. The president even able to resume physical exercise. He's been continuing to do his duties remotely, though. Today, he held virtual meetings.
Preparations are now underway for the CenterPoint Energy Dayton Air Show. It's happening this weekend at the Dayton International Airport. Mamie Ba is there now. And Mamie, what's been happening to get everything set up and ready for the tens of thousands of spectators all expected to show up?
Well, organizers have been putting everything together. They are expecting a large show and one that's back to normal. As you know, the pandemic has really impacted the Dayton Air Show throughout these past few years, and they are expecting at least 60,000 people to attend here. The Blue Angels will be back this year, and take a listen to what else you can expect.
This year we have an F-16 Viper demo. We have flyovers with F-15s and helicopters on Sundays that are very special. C-17 demo. We have a gentleman named Kent Peach who does kind of a comedy act that's new.
Now, Mamie, I know you also spoke with community members. Are they excited about this year's lineup?
They are so thrilled. I spoke with one man. He tells me he got his ticket about 2 weeks ago, and he says it's tradition. He goes every single year, and he goes with his family, saying it's such a family-friendly event, and he's just so stoked that it's back to normal this year, and he cannot wait to attend. And so coming up tonight at 10 and 11, we'll hear more from him and also from organizers, more on what you can expect and how much they believe this air show will help the community. Back to you.
Mamie, thanks. Well, if you stepped outside today, you might have noticed it was a little bit cooler than we've been used to over the last, month and a half now, Natalie.
Yeah.
So is this going to continue or going to warm back up again here soon?
We got a little more sunshine tomorrow. That's going to help warm things up. A little bit more humidity in the forecast too, but the clouds and the rain have certainly kept temperatures down across the area. You can see that here on our satellite and radar. We've seen showers on and off throughout the day, Mainly a light to moderate rain, although activity is tapering off just a little bit right now. But we have more rain in the forecast, but you can see how it has kept temperatures down in the 70s, 71 in Dayton, a little warmer to the northwest where they haven't seen that impact as much, 76 in Salina, 74 up in Wapakoneta. So it's been a nice cooler day today. We're going to fall into the upper 60s overnight. Showers developing again by tomorrow morning, and we're talking about another chance for rain and thunderstorms returning to the area. Going to time those out for you coming up here in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. The Biden administration has announced nearly $2 billion in funding to improve accessibility at public rail stations. This comes 32 years after the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, and it's finally going to give more people access to more than 900 transit stations. It's the latest in a series of steps the Transportation Department is taking to improve accessibility. The money is coming from the bipartisan infrastructure law.
The European Union has reached a deal to ration its natural gas this winter. EU officials approved a draft that would lower natural gas use by about 15% from August to March. So the cut will protect the bloc just in case Russia cuts the union off from its gas supply. And the move comes as Russia announced another cut on gas flow to the EU through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline on Monday. The Senate is pushing a semiconductor chip bill forward tonight. Megan's at the Now Desk, so what does all this mean, Megan?
Yeah, Adam, more than a dozen Republicans joined Democrats voting to limit debate and advance the bill. That clears the path for a full Senate vote later this week, where final passage, we're told, is likely. The bill provides $52 billion in grants and incentives for the semiconductor industry and tax credits for companies that set up shop in the U.S. If passed, this could be great news for Ohio and Intel. The company has been waiting for Congress to act before breaking ground on its new plant in Licking County, just outside of Columbus.
Dayton Navy Week has come to Fairborn. It's designed for citizens to learn about the Navy, of course, and its importance to national and local security. So today and tomorrow, representatives from Naval History and Heritage Command are here to tell the public about what they do, plus the connection between the Navy and Dayton.
The Navy likes to do these Navy Weeks so we can visit states that won't typically see our presence. So as in Ohio, it's mostly an Air Force around here, and we're bringing Navy in there to show our awareness around here, what we can do.
The Navy's been everywhere in the world, Antarctica, Iraq, Afghanistan, so it's not just water, it's wherever the service is needed.
So if you weren't able to make it out today, you have another chance to speak to Navy representatives. Just head to the museum on Main Street in Fairborn between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The Navy exhibit, however, will be there through Saturday.
And Dayton 24/7 now needs your help to stuff the bus again this year. We're partnering with Crayons to Classrooms to collect school supply donations for kids who need some help returning to the classroom this fall. The organization distributes supplies to teachers in Clark, Darke, Greene, Miami, Montgomery, and Warren counties, all for free. And we do have a school bus out in our parking lot right now. It's going to be there all week for you to drop off your donations. You can see the address is listed right there on your screen.
As training camp begins, the Bengals star quarterback taking some time off. The surgery keeping him off the field, and when he'll be back.
And two local groups teaming up to help with food insecurity. Why today's distribution comes at such a crucial time.
And tracking another round of rain and thunderstorms across the Miami Valley. I'll let you know when we clear out. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
weather window presented by the National Weather Desk.
Catastrophic flooding across St. Louis today as repetitive thunderstorms with extremely heavy rain moved over the same areas in a short period of time. The process is called training, and it resulted in a narrow but long swath of 8 inches to almost a foot of rainfall. However, that swath went right over the city.
Follow the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platform.
Some big news potentially for the Cincinnati sports world. Star quarterback Joe Burrow having surgery to remove his appendix. Now, this comes on the day players are reporting to training camp at Paul Brown Stadium. He's just expected to miss about 1 to 4 weeks.
Well, showers across the Miami Valley, a little break as we head into this evening, but we'll have more rain and some thunderstorms in the forecast as we head into our Wednesday. So taking a look at what we're expecting overnight, temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. We'll see some clearing, but then notice by early tomorrow morning, we'll start to see some more showers. Very similar to where we saw most of the rain today, which will be along and south of I-70. And then temperature-wise, warming up a bit more by the afternoon. High temperatures back up into the 80s, a little bit more humidity out there, and that will help fuel potentially some thunderstorms by tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. And with those storms, we do have a very low wind risk. Level 1 threat for severe storms. Damaging winds would be the primary concern, so stay weather aware. I'm going to talk about the rest of the week's forecast coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. The principal of Uvalde Elementary School, where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed, has been put on administrative leave. Now, the attorney for Principal Mandy Gutierrez says the district placed her on leave with pay on Monday. Gutierrez was principal at Robb Elementary School at the time of that mass shooting. Comes after legislative committee found Gutierrez knew a classroom door lock was not working and did not have it repaired. That's where the massacre happened. We're learning more tonight about what was happening behind the scenes ahead of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Megan's at the Now Desk to explain. Megan?
Yeah, Adam, multiple sources telling CNN tonight Chief Justice John Roberts made a big push to save at least part of the ruling instead of overturning it completely. Roberts tried making his case to fellow conservative justices. He's done this before on other votes successfully, but the leaked draft opinion this time got in his way, straining trust among justices and staff. This likely locked in votes even if they weren't already solid.
A huge chunk of change coming to the Buckeye State. The U.S. Energy Department plans to lend $2.5 billion to a joint venture between General Motors and South Korea-based LG Energy Solution. Now, that money is going to go toward construction of lithium-ion battery cell plants in Ohio, Tennessee, and Michigan. That's part of the Biden administration's plan to jumpstart the electric car market. Now, it's the government's first new advanced technology vehicles manufacturing loan since 2010. These 3 plants are expected to create more than 5,000 jobs. The deal expected to close in the coming months. A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal tonight. A Dayton-based nonprofit centered around art education has announced its new executive director. Ruth Reveal has assumed the role at Muse Machine, replacing Mary Zoff, who recently retired. Reveal most recently led the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance, increasing accessibility, forming community partnerships, and supporting the inclusion of historically underrepresented students and families. And we have more information right now on our website, Dayton247now.com. You can find this story, plus others like it. Just look under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab. The Dayton Food Bank partnering with CareSource for a mass food distribution today. Volunteers, they're passing out fruit, vegetables, chicken, snacks, all to the Greene County community. It's the second of 3 mass food distributions it's set to have.
Really trying to get a good assortment of all of those fresh items because they're the most expensive in the store, especially lately. We have been seeing higher prices for items. They're the most nutritious, they're the most delicious, so it's really a win all around.
You got inflation, you got rising gas prices. It just makes everything a little bit harder for everyone. So again, anything we can do.
Now, they also partnered with Premier Health to offer optional health screenings like blood pressure and cholesterol screenings.
All right, a live look tonight over Beaver Creek. This is from our Kettering Health Sky Cam. Some cloudy skies after a couple of really pretty sunny, dry days. Some sprinkles moving in today, and it sounds like they're going to stick around.
Yeah, and some thunderstorms making their way back into the forecast, too, over these next couple of days. But we do have some nice weather on the way.
Good. Show us that.
The weekend shaping up beautifully. Heading to the air show this weekend, it's shaping up actually really nicely. This is a look at what we're expecting over these next several days. Temperature-wise, we're actually going to see mid-80s. Next couple of days, a little bit warmer, a little bit more humid, and that will help fuel a few more thunderstorms before we get a cold front to swing in. And then that will drop temperature. So upper 70s, lower 80s by this upcoming weekend. And that's also with some lower humidity that will be in play, as well as some sunshine. But coming up, I'm going to take a look at that 7-day forecast because we are going to see some rain and storms back in the forecast by next week. That's coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks for the jackpot for the Mega Millions. It's grown even more tonight. We'll tell you how much you could bring home if you win. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Here's your stocks.
Well, a few more showers and thunderstorms across the Miami Valley as we head into these next few days. For our Thursday, we will start to see a cold front make its way into the Miami Valley. This will bring another chance for rain and storms by our Thursday afternoon and evening before we finally clear out, bringing us a little cooler weather as we head into these next 7 days. So taking a look at our extended forecast, scattered rain and storms both Wednesday and on Thursday. Now, not everyone is going to get under a downpour, but plan on some rain over Wednesday and Thursday. By the weekend, there you start to see some cooler weather make its way back in. High temperatures back in the lower 70s, upper 80s, or mid 80s, I should say, by Sunday. And that's with some lower humidity, especially Friday, Saturday. So forecast for the air show is looking great.
All right, thanks, Natalie. Get ready to win that money. Elise Coulter breaks down just how much you could take home if you won the Mega Millions jackpot.
All right, the Mega Millions jackpot is now $810 million. Tonight is the drawing at 11 o'clock. It's so exciting. There's a lot going on, obviously. Play the lottery wherever you guys typically play the lottery that you have, I guess, the last drawing was last Friday at 11 o'clock. And the cash option for the $810 million, $470 million. What would I do, Nathan? What would I do if I won the lottery? Not work. I will tell you that for sure. I'm sure that's pretty much going to be everyone's answer. So for Megan and Adam, I want to know, would you guys continue to work? What would you do with all that money?
What couldn't you do with all that money?
I was about to say,
I feel like the world's just wide open at that point.
Yeah, a lot of options. A lot of options.
$1 million forecast this weekend.
It's got to be better than the humidity that you and I just experienced outside.
Right. It's pretty sticky out there. Got some really nice weather, 80s and 70s for this upcoming weekend.
All right. Very good. Natalie, thanks. Thanks for being with us tonight. We're over on Fox 45 next. We'll